at that time. Okay, so Menser.
Protein, politicization.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Well, traditional media is like, will take anything at this point as an attempt to gulp for air because they're really struggling, right? I mean, there are some decent journalists in traditional media, right? There are. I think that they, but they'll not just by quote unquote politicizing something gives them something to say about it, right? 1 gram of protein per pound of lean or desired body mass is kind of the standard thing now. Some people less, some people a little bit more. Okay, fine. I think we all get that. That's the goal. If you get a little less, you're probably fine. If you get a little more, you're probably fine. If you get tons more, you're probably not fine. If you get tons less, you're probably not fine. Animal protein's clearly superior as a quality protein to calorie ratio, right? You get an 8-ounce piece of steak, or you have to eat half a jar of peanut butter, which is not protein. It's a bunch of fat with a little bit of protein in it. Okay, so why do they politicize it? Well, because they're struggling. They're struggling big time in terms of how to generate revenues. I mean, people expect to get their news. 2 things have certainly happened. I believe Ezra Klein on this, that people are no longer digesting their news as local news as much. It's more national level news and international level news. And look, putting your name in a title or Rogan's name in a title or, is going to generate clicks. And saying great things about people, kind things about people generally doesn't get.
He's such a nice guy.
I mean, listen, I've had a few nice articles written, and some of the health magazines will pull protocols and things, and I love it. And I would say things in the health section of the New York Times very often parrot what I've covered and other people have covered, and they do it differently, but you can often predict what they're going to cover by looking at the various health podcasts. Peter's, et cetera. Peter was just on 60 Minutes, Peter Attia. So
yeah, I texted him about it, and he said, nice to see traditional media not accusing me of something unspeakable for once. Yeah,
I mean, they seem to focus a bit much on like how much he charges his clients and this kind of thing.
The fact that he said that was a sort of clean and fair interview, despite the fact that there is some fuckery going on in there. Yeah, it just goes to. I mean,
well, listen, to say they're losing power is an understatement. They've lost power. To some degree, there's still some trust there from a number of people. The reason I'm doing that, the reason I have my art projects, the reason I extended my book for a year to add more studies, because I like learning. And as my a friend of mine said, he's a very intelligent guy. He's a tattooer, among other things. He's an exceptional artist. And he said, people with interests are interesting.
Correct.
You know what's not interesting? Other people's failures, other people's minor wins. Like, there's nothing more boring than that.
Yeah.
But it hooks in the short term. So social media, I think of as we should go up to Clouds Rest sometime and hike Clouds Rest in Yosemite. It's beautiful, but there's this very narrow rock bridge out to the top. And on either side, it's slide to your death. And so I'm always I don't get down on all fours, but it's precarious, but it's beautiful when you get to the top, and it opens up into a big flat spoon. You're above Half Dome. It's gorgeous. I go there as often as I can. But on either side, you fall to your death. And I always think of the internet and much of life like this. On one side is the fall to your death that is numbing out by going online.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is drama.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to name names because I don't want to give it any more. Like, recently there was an online drama in the fitness community, and I was like, I unfollowed a bunch of accounts. I was like, this is the most boring, stupid thing I've ever seen in my entire life. And this is seeding my thoughts.
Yeah.
This is seeding my, and like, I got to go back to reading good books. I'm going into my basement,
Yep.
So you're allowed to unfollow accounts that you're not learning from, or that are pulling you into either numbing out or drama. The drama piece is very serious because it gives the illusion that there's something meaningful there. But you realize this is just like, it's nothingness.
That's a fascinating way to look at it. It is kind of the empty calories of the content world, that you leave this having been given the sort of simulacrum of learning something. But if somebody said, okay, after watching this 10-minute, half-hour, 1-hour expose or deconstruction, what do you know that you didn't know at the start? You go, well, I know about what this person and this person said to each other about each other and how the interplay. And look, deconstructing someone's psychological profile, understanding how human motivations work. I'm fascinated by the way that sort of social interaction, hierarchy, status games, all of that stuff but I'm not learning that. I'm not reading The Status Game by Will Storr.
Well, you're a
right?
thinker. I mean, so when I mentioned this rock bridge, I mean, it's the visual I keep in mind when I'm trying to get into solid work or solid thinking or going on social media. Like there's a narrow band of very useful things to learn and participate in. I think that
infinity of bullshit on either side.
Numbing out or drama.
Is post-content clarity. So after you've finished consuming a thing, how do you feel? Do you feel enlightened, hopeful, peaceful? Do you want to ring your mom and say that you miss her? Do you want to talk to your friends? Or do you feel like the world's out to get you and that there's less than is needed for everybody and you shouldn't really trust people and you're a bit sort of tight and tense and your shoulders are up and there's a ringing in your ears?
Well, here's my litmus test. After I spend a bit of time on social media, I ask myself later, do I remember anything from being on there? The reflection, was there any learning? Did I learn anything? Listen, I learned some things from your discussion with Scott. I still got a little bit more to go in the discussion, so don't quiz me on it just yet. But I intend to think about it. In fact, this morning I went out for a run. I listened to a podcast of somebody that I'm not particularly big fan of, but I wanted to get their perspective. And I thought a bit about some of the things that you and Scott had discussed. And I was reflecting on it, right? Because that's learning, and that's the anti-forgetting process. I can't recall something I saw on social media yesterday that was very stimulating, but I watched that 60 Minutes episode and it gave me some ideas and insights about what's going on in the world or what might not be going on in the world. And, thinking about your experiences is so critical to placing value on them, making them meaningful for you. What I'm not interested in is just an endless deluge of sensory input that goes nowhere, especially if it impedes other things. So a little bit more reflection, 10 minutes, 1 minute, 5 seconds of just asking, did I remember anything useful?
Do I want to do that again? As opposed to just the infinite wheel. You mentioned, I